But we were talking about lawfare in New York, my city, New York. Donald Trump now has this hard left prosecutor. Basically, she got her job because of a quota. You know, we have these programs called DEI.
Yeah. Diversity, equality, inclusion.
Which is a complete joke. So basically, we have an unqualified DA who didn't deserve to be there. She's there. Now she's making a case against Trump, which basically a lot of real estate developers have done what he's done anyway. You might as well go get, another million of them, So now they're saying...
No one lost money.
Yeah. So now they're basically saying this guy has to put up, let's say, $40 million or whatever, bail to not go to, let's say, jail. So now let's look at Andrew Tate. Look at the financial damages they've done to these two young men. But with Trump, you could say it's because of an election, a presidential election. What do you think the real reason is that two, objectively speaking, I'm not gay, but I'm just saying, two handsome, athletic, intelligent, successful men would do something this silly? What do you think the real purpose is with the Tates?
For them, well, everyone who is promoted on TikTok, Instagram currently.
And you know them. You're from Luton.
Yeah. What do I think their purpose is?
Yeah. Why do you think they're really? Who's pushing this against the Tates?
Against them?
Yeah. In Romania, for example.
In Romania, it's not Romania, is it? It would be the United States. Romania would just be doing what they're told to do, I believe. I know that some of the girls. I think that many of the influencers who are pushed forward as influencers, so they don't just organically become influencers on TikTok and social media. It's all transgenders now. Yeah? It's trannies, right? It's trannies or it's gays. The people they want talking to your young children are not physically fit men who are telling you to escape the education system, to not be slaves in the industry, to try and think outside the box. So I think that they would have upset a lot of people, Andrew and Tristan, and also they can't allow them to be a success. They cannot allow that. They cannot allow that. And what I said to Tate is, so you're talking about Donald Trump. So when I set up the English Defence League in 2009, they got warrants and they went for every single member of my family's finances. Now what they've done, the British government did, and the police, what they've done is they went back 6 years and they found a house. So my brother-in-law, who was an apprentice for my company, he bought a house in 2004, yeah? Say it was 2004, bought a house. Now that house was £60,000. To get the mortgage, in the UK, we have self-certification mortgages. So as long as you put down 20%, they don't ask for proof of how much you earn, you write how much you earn. So he said he earned £20,000 a year, but he actually earned £10,000 a year. So he buys the house, he does the house up, he sells it. 4 years later, yeah? 4 years later, they raid him, nick him, they nick me, yeah? Right? They get us into court, they prosecute us on mortgage fraud. And what they say is because he lied on his form, yeah? Even though the mortgage company were paid back 100%, yeah? Even though it was 4 years prior, because he lied on his form and he got a mortgage to buy this property, when the property sold, yeah, that money becomes the proceeds of crime. So the money then goes into another property deal, yeah, from the mortgage where he said he earned more than he earned, yeah. They're paid back, buys another property, yeah. That is the proceeds of crime. They then hit us with a figure of, at the time, £125,000, yeah. So the mortgage company lost no money. Self-certification mortgages were encouraged by the banks. That's what they were there for. As long as you put down 20%, you can get a mortgage and buy the house, yeah. They done that. They then prosecuted. I was sentenced to 18 months in prison because he said he earned more on his mortgage form than what he earned. Yeah, that lawfare happened to me in 2010. So so what they've done with Donald Trump, he's like, no bank lost no money. Yeah, we just said the property value was worth this. It's literally identical, but they done it to me in 2010, and then they took all my family members on stupid little things like that, and then I had to plead guilty, right? Or my wife was getting put in court for tax. And obviously I live under constant. I've had 12 Osman warnings by the British government. There's 6 Muslims in jail now doing 30 years. They got caught with guns and bombs on the way to kill me. So I've had serious death threats. Al-Shabaab have named me to be killed. Terrorist organisations want me killed. I've had all these things. No, everyone knows what I look like. Yeah, I'm a target. If I walk out now down the street, I'm a target. Yeah, there's lots of videos of me being violently attacked, but no one knows what my wife looked like. So then they were putting her in court on tax. So when she walks into court, she's she's going to be as famous as me, or the media. So I had to succumb for a case that they had no evidence on me, and I had to take a plea deal and go to jail for 18 months so that they'd drop all my family and let my family off the court. So that blackmail from the state, I've gone through it all. So I've been through the lawfare. That lawfare has never once stopped. Never once stopped. And the purpose of it is to set an example. So Andrew Tate, I said to him, bro, they are coming for you. Yeah? And do you know what they're coming for? Your money. Because once they say the first bit of money you made was the proceeds of crime, every bit of money you made from that point on with that money is the proceeds of crime. You're going to get hit for tens of millions, I think, yeah? And when you get hit for tens of millions, you pay the money or you go jail for longer. So I don't think they can allow him to get off of it. And people talk about justice. There is no justice system. There's a legal system. And I can give so many examples of this. For example, I spoke to you about illegally entering America. When I illegally entered America, I got 10 months in prison. I spent 22 weeks on solitary confinement for 2 days in New York, yeah. 2 fucking days. If I'd have known that, I'd have stayed there for months, right? But I come back to the UK. I was arrested on the motorway by the British police. The Americans didn't want to prosecute me. They held me straight on remand. So they put me on remand. So I used my friend's passport to go to America, 22 weeks on solitary confinement. A girl twice used her sister's and then another passport to try and leave the UK to join ISIS. She didn't even get done. All the terrorists have come into our country, Abu Qatada, come into our country on a fake passport. Didn't get done. So when they want to manipulate the law or the sentencing, if you've got a target on you, like Donald Trump has, like Andrew Tate has, like Russell Brand has, when you've got a target on you, they can manoeuvre that law any way they want. They can change the context of what you've said or done. They've actually done this. I'm in the new documentary. I'll have a documentary out in 3 or 4 weeks called Lawfare. Lawfare, the British police state, where I am going to, was it Dame Victoria Sharp? I think that was her name. She was the first female lead judge of the Old Bailey. I am going to humiliate her. Yeah? You are going to get to see that she is a liar. She's corrupt. She lied to you all about, so they sent me back to jail on another grooming offence. I was reporting on grooming. You know the case where I said they locked me up for 13 months. It went to appeal. So after 12 weeks of solitary confinement, it got before a judge. Everything they done was unlawful. The words of the judge are, this entire case is flawed, let him out of prison. They let me straight out of prison. I lost 40 pounds in prison, yeah, of weight. Yeah, I was in a bad way. I come out of jail with post-traumatic stress disorder. I had all these problems going on. So I come out of jail, I'm out of jail. They then try to re-prosecute me on the case, the government do, on the same thing I've been released from, because everything they'd done was wrong. So then they took it back to court again. It went to the Old Bailey, the highest court in the land. The head judge at the Old Bailey just told the government, I'm not prosecuting him. Yeah? So I come walking out of court, there's thousands of people there, and I felt I'm free. Yeah, I'm freed. That's it, I'm freed. I produced the documentary Panorama. So this is the flagship program where I show their corruption. So basically, I got the girl to covertly record him lying, making up fake news, all these different things, being racist, being homophobic, everything they say about us. And then when they come to interview me for their documentary, they thought they were setting me up. And I had a screen on the wall behind me. So as all their producers are there, the first thing I asked him is, John Sweeney, the BBC, you're the biggest there is in the world, your programme, yeah? Would you ever tell anyone what to say in an interview, John? Would that be good journalism? He's like, no. I'm like, press play. And on the wall behind me is the covert recording of him saying, say this, and say this. And we have a deal that's on the documentary. Yeah? And then I say, would you ever make up sexual allegations against a man, John? No. Press play. Would you ever, and I went through, and his career finished, yeah? They never brought out the documentary on me. Now, I screened this film on a 50-metre screen outside the BBC's offices in Manchester. And when I put it online, it had 2 million views in 24 hours. And I'm showing this on the documentary I'm making now. Panodrama's produced. 48 hours later, I'm deleted from Facebook, Instagram, every single social media, YouTube, every single social media there is, clears me within a week, yeah? Then I receive a letter from the Attorney General, I'm being re-prosecuted. Now remember, the judge refused to take it. They replaced the judge, I've got the dates. They replaced the judge with Victoria Dame Sharp, the new female judge. I'm put before her on my case, yeah? On her first case. Right? She sentenced me to jail, sends me back to jail. Now what she says, and I've got the video, this is all, people will be able to watch this in the documentary. I'm outside court and I'm talking to journalists. And what I say to the journalists is, look, instead of following me, and then I cut in a video, so I was in London and I was with my family, and about half a mile away, I could see someone bloke in the bush, and he's got a long lens camera, so he's photographing my family. So I get in my car and I cut him off, and I block his car, and I get out of the car and I say, wait, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah? And he rings the police. I say, who are you? And who are you working for? He's got his big long lens camera. He says, I'm a journalist. I said, all right, but the point I'm making is, journalists follow me. They've been outside my house. They've been outside my mum's house. They've harassed my whole family, yeah? So the point I'm making outside this Leeds Crown Court to journalists is, these men, 30 of them, have been on bail for 2 years. I've done my research and found out that they are still running chicken shops, yeah? They still have close contact with children going into the chicken shops. They're on bail for raping children in their chicken shops, yeah? So I say to the journalists, instead of harassing me, harass them, follow them, go find them, follow their families. That's what I say, yeah?
When it comes to kids, you're seeing a lot of this stuff in the schools, right?
This is everywhere.
The indoctrination of the schools.
Indoctrination of schools, but...
With the kids in the British schools, it's like America.
Yeah.
They're teaching it, it's normal.
It's normal, yeah. It's normal. But when I say this in the video, what she done in court, she said, and I was sent to jail for calling for violent vigilante attacks against those men, the Muslim men. So when I sat in jail, I thought, well, I didn't do that. How can you say I've done that? Because there's no jury. I've never had a jury. You know, you think you get tried by 12 months. I've never had a jury. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching it, and I'm sitting in jail watching this video. And where I was talking to the media, they just cut it to me saying, harass them, find them, get them. So they took the bit of me talking to the media, and she's told the country, and so have the media, that I was asking my supporters to commit vigilante attacks. So as I said, this documentary is just to show you, I went off on one there, I'll continue to go off on one. But that's because lawfare, I've experienced it for 15 years. The media are the weapon of them. So if we had an unbiased, fair media, they wouldn't be able to tell lies like that, because the media would say, well, he didn't say that. And the journalists would be questioning the government and the courts. But they just parrot whatever they want. And then people are sent to jail wrongfully. As I said, I'll be in jail by the end of March again.